Well, here we are. You guys knew this video was coming. I tweeted out before this weekend. I said, hey, if TSM goes 0-2 this weekend, TSM is finished is coming out. I wanted to make TSM is finished after they went 0-2 the first week, and I really wasn't impressed with a lot of the things I saw. I was really worried with a lot of the things I saw. I was very, very concerned about TSM and what this 2022 season and beyond was going to mean for them. But I know there was a ton of people out there saying, hey, wait, it's just the first week. They're developing, they're training. This is a rebuilding phase, whatever. You got to be patient. And then I watched this most recent weekend of games, especially the Golden Guardians game, the Golden Guardians loss, and it was pretty disgusting. It was pretty hard to watch. And you can just, put any roster of inexperienced young players, whatever, and slap the rebuild or development title on them. But that doesn't necessarily mean that it's going anywhere. That doesn't necessarily mean they're going to be a great team eventually. And really, as of watching that past weekend, I am now pretty convinced that TSM is finished, that the old TSM is not coming back, at least anytime soon. But I also think that's okay in some ways. But that's what we'll be talking about in this video today. So definitely drop a like if you guys do enjoy it. I'd appreciate that a ton. I know the Is Finished series is probably the most popular series I've ever done on my channel. People do seem to love it. It's kind of become a meme of its own. Some people hate it because they hate the hot takes. They say it's stupid, whatever. But I enjoy doing these. And I think it's fun to, space them out, drop them every once in a while, make them kind of bigger videos on this channel. And subscribe to stay up to date on all my latest content. Also, I'm rocking the Germ merch today. This is our signature collection. We got short sleeves, long sleeves, tank tops, sweatshirts, all kinds of different colors. You guys should check it out. An awesome way to help support my content and my channel. I think it's clean. I like it. I'm glad I have my name on something. We've been selling a couple of them. I think it's fun. With that being said, let's get right into this. So, TSM. Obviously, I've been a longtime TSM fan of the organization for like 8 years, I think, at this point. And recently, I haven't loved the direction that the organization is going. I don't love the allegations about Reggie coming out. I really take that type of bullying and power abuse and stuff like that. I take that very, very seriously. I think that if true, again, who knows exactly what's happening, the investigations are going on, but if true, I think that stuff is really, really disgusting and not something that I want to necessarily support. And there's also some other people at TSM I've had some issues with. Parth, I really don't think was very disrespectful or nice to me. There's been players that have been treated poorly by the TSM organization, by Reggie, by Parth, by a lot of these guys. And they've been, kind of set up to fail, put up in bad situations, kind of kicked to the curb. But there's also some people that I really, really admire, respect at TSM as well. I think that, like Dominic Callis, he's obviously been awesome to me. He gave me that interview. He seems like a great guy. He seems like the guy who might be able to help turn this ship around eventually. But it's going to take time. I think Kays has been really, really awesome. He's very well respected as one of the best kind of analysts and just people in the League of Legends scene in general. He's been great. I think he's, awesome. But in a lot of ways, TSM has been hard to root for a lot of fans, a lot of people. They've lost so many players. The organization's been going down a bad direction. They haven't been winning. Winning is the cure-all. And recently, not just this year, the last, 3 or 4 years, this team has not done a whole lot of winning. But this all kind of gets capped off by TSM. Fionn Fire tweeted this out, but everyone was talking about this. For the first time in the 10-year history of the LCS, TSM has started a season 0-4. Now, I think it was the first time TSM had ever started a season 0-3 as well. I think 0-2 is their worst start. That could be cap. Maybe 0-3 they've done before, but they have never done 0-4 before. And I know, some fans are coming out and saying, we knew TSM was going to suck. We knew TSM was going to struggle. We're scaling for summer. We're trying to get better. I did not see anyone predicting a 0-4 start to the season for TSM. Look at their schedule. TSM has had a relatively easy schedule to start the season. I don't know why this gets cut off and put into lock-in. They played Evil Geniuses. They're a solid team. Okay, whatever. They lose that game. Evil Geniuses had all their players for lock-in. You can maybe give that a pass. They lost to Dignitas. Not necessarily seen as a top 5 team coming into the season, and maybe you've been impressed by Dignitas so far this year. If you include them as a top 5 team, well, then that makes TSM not a top 5 team, whatever. And then they have also lost to now FlyQuest and Golden Guardians. They have started out 0-4 without playing against 100 Thieves, without playing against Team Liquid, and playing one of, the most disgusting games I've ever seen against Golden Guardians for both teams, but still ending up with a loss there. Golden Guardians is like the laughing stock of the LCS. Once you start losing to them, and TSM wasn't even favored coming into that match. Once you're an underdog against Golden Guardians, that's not good. And if that's how you ended up at 0-4, that is really, really not good. And, hey, here's their next 5 games: Immortals, Cloud9, 100 Thieves, CLG, and Team Liquid. It's very, very possible they lose to C9, 100 Thieves, and TL. Who knows what's going to happen against CLG and Immortals? It's very, very possible that TSM goes 2-7 in the first round robin of the LCS, and all of a sudden it's on the table that they might not make playoffs in the LCS, and that would be absolutely disgusting because, again, I understand they are developing. I understand they are rebuilding. I get all of this. I get that they're going to need time. They're building synergy. They have young players. They had green card issues, or not green card issues, but visa issues that, they're scaling, they're ramping up all this stuff. But I will say it time and time again, overusing that is a total bullshit excuse and such a weak argument because many, many, many teams in the LCS have young and inexperienced players, dealt with visa issues. There's even teams with language barriers and stuff like that going on. There's other teams that haven't got to practice a ton yet together and have looked better out of the gate than TSM. And also on the other side, every single team in the LCS, 10 out of 10 teams, are working on synergy, working on improvement, working on ramping and scaling up as the season goes on. TSM is not the only team that is trying to get better in spring split to summer. You assume most teams are going to be a better version of themselves in summer. Now, yes, could TSM potentially have more ground to cover? Could they have more room to make up? Yes. That is absolutely possible. I get it. Some teams are going to improve better than others. But to say, just to wipe away everything we're seeing right now and see the individual misplays, the team misplays, the bad drafts, the bad execution, and just blame everything on, outside forces and not that, hey, this TSM roster might just not be that good. TSM might have went cheap in this offseason. TSM might have failed in the scouting department, or maybe they did good at scouting. Maybe just not that many great players want to come and play for TSM at this point. And again, they have this FTX money. They got all these things. They got all these resources. They went a little bit cheap. They potentially, it's too early to say about Kaido or Shenyi, we'll see. But it's at least possible that they swang and missed on some prospects. Again, very, very many people were skeptical about these guys coming into the year. And then also there's, the possibility that, hey, I've been saying I don't think Huni's that good. It's possible he's not a top 5 top laner in the LCS. And Tactical, still, I think Tactical's good. I have respect for Tactical. I was happy when TSM got him. It's possible that he had been getting carried by Core JJ previously. And I just think there is so many things, pointing to the overall downfall and demise of TSM. I don't think this is a team that's going to compete for... It's literally a team that I don't think is going to make the playoffs in spring, at least at this rate. We'll see. They could sneak into the 5 or 6 seed. I wouldn't be shocked by that. But, hey, I really see this as probably like a 7th or 8th place team in the spring split, at least how they're playing right now. And I don't see this as a team that's going to be competing for a world spot come summer. And then if you don't make the playoffs in the spring and hey, there's 8 teams that make the playoffs in the summer. You're probably going to make the playoffs. But if you don't even compete for a world spot, changes are probably going to be made. Spica's probably leaving. And then what's going to happen with the rest of the team? Who's your next jungler going to be? Who else is going to leave? Is Kaido and Shenyi going to want to stay? Are you going to try and move on from Tactical? Are you going to try and move on from Huni? Like, you can say this is a rebuild. You can say this is development project, whatever. But, like, esports moves very, very fast. You don't get 3, 4, 5 years to rebuild. You get like a split, maybe 2 splits, and then you got to get going. Spica's on an expiring contract. People have years of their lives that are getting wasted away. Fans have expectations. All of a sudden TSM content isn't doing that good. TSM doesn't have the most fans in the LCS anymore. They're falling apart in a lot of different ways. And I just really, don't love the state of the organization. The LCS team is struggling. The academy team is struggling. They don't have a ton of talent on the roster. They're not going to be able to sell players off and get a bunch of money. They don't have a ton of exciting talent at the LCS level right now. I know people want to keep saying, oh, Kaido is this insane, mechanical god or whatever. we're at that stage in the LCS where a lot of the players are mechanical gods. It's not like Kaido is like shitting on Bjergsen 1v1 mechanically, or shitting on Abadage mechanically 1v1, or, you know, like he's so much better mechanically than the other players. Like, no, the differences between players at a mechanical level are not that great anymore. Kaido is not, from what I've seen, you know, some like second coming of Faker, nothing like that. He seems like a strong individual player. But it's a team game, and you have to be able to fit in that team environment. You have to be a winner. You have to figure things out, and that's going to take time for him to do, sure. But man, there's going to be some pain and some struggle in between that. And is it going to be worth it to go through all that? And then, even if you do go through all that, is he necessarily even that guy for you, you know, going forward into the future? I really don't know. You know, we've seen so many other tweets. You know, even Case came out and said, he's like, well, we suck right now. Going to try and turn it around. You know, I think this was a very, very big tweet. Just even the organization, you know, coming out and saying, hey, we suck right now. Because I know there was some fans making so many excuses. There was literally people after the Golden Guardians game being like, hey guys, well, I'm glad TSM at least put up a fight. Like, that is so weird to be that just kind of blindly faithful and blindly optimistic about the team, when clearly everything on the Rift shows you that, hey, not a lot's going right. There's not a lot. Like, you don't just have to have blind faith and blind kind of fandom and stuff. I think it's very, very weird. There was also this tweet from Dunk that I didn't really like. You know, I don't know. I have a lot of problems with a lot of the stuff that Dunk kind of says and does. You know, I think he's great at, you know, doing the social media stuff, but every once in a while kind of has some out there opinions and takes and stuff. He says, you know, my only advice for fans right now is to avoid media and shit takes from casters and analysts about already hitting our ceiling. Now, I didn't see anyone say that TSM's already hit their ceiling. I don't know where I mean, did a caster or analyst say that? I doubt it. Like I said, I didn't see it. He said, I've sat in reviews, I've watched scrims, they know their issues and they're working on them. It just takes time. I have faith. And like, I mean, okay, you're the social media guy. I don't know like what we're supposed to take from this. But you know, just avoiding media and shit takes, like that's super weird. Coming from a team of TSM, you know, like, hey, when they're doing good and they're winning, oh, we love the media. Hey, we love that we have the most fans. Hey, everyone's hyping us up. TSM. And then stuff goes bad for a little while and it's ignore the media and all the shit take. Like, I don't know about all that. You guys are 0-4. Are these really shit takes, or is it takes on a shit start to the season for TSM? I thought this was really weird. And then there was some other guy right here. You know, this guy says narratives. They need the narratives. And it's like, hey, yes, people do need narratives. People do need clicks. People need engagement. People got to get views. People got to pay the bills, all that stuff. But like, is saying TSM is 0-4, worst start in the organization's history. This isn't the TSM a lot of fans know and love. It's a new look to the organization. It's a way worse version of the organization and the team. We're not having results. We're playing terrible. 0-4. Is that a narrative, or is that, hey, we have eyes and we're watching what's happening on the Rift? You know, calling that narratives is such a weird spin. And I don't love, you know, that Dunk is like, yeah, you're not wrong. Yeah, man, they're just pushing the narratives. TSM isn't 0-4. TSM doesn't suck right now. TSM has a great, you know, we're going to Worlds. Like, super weird. I don't get it. And again, just kind of weird stuff like this is just, you know, pushing me more and more away from the team, honestly. I mean, here it is. Here's the standings. You know, they are sitting at the bottom of the table, 0-4. Again, I get it. Developing, trying to get better, trying to ramp up, whatever. There's other teams doing that in the LCS right now as well, and there's teams looking better than them. Just because, you know, you take a roster and you slap that rebuild tag on them, that does not mean they're going to get better split over split. Not every team gets better split over split. Not every team gets better year over year. Not every player gets better split over split. Not every player gets better year over year. It's not as simple as, hey, find some young, inexperienced players and, hey, a year from now we'll be great. We'll be amazing. We'll be whatever. Like, no, that's not how it works. But I do think that, hey, some of TSM kind of starting over, some of them hitting rebuilds, some of them, you know, making changes, and they obviously have. They've made a ton of changes behind the scene. They've made a ton of changes on the Rift. When you go through so much change, when you go through so much rebuilding, when you go through this whole process, it's going to take time. TSM is not going to become great overnight once again. They, you know, in the first place, they didn't just become great overnight. It took time. It took a ton of work, ton of effort, and then they got to reap the rewards for some time. But now they have to learn how to not be the top dog, how to be losers, how to lose gracefully, how to learn and gain something from it, how to, temper expectations correctly, how to, be graceful in defeat, how to build up their brand name once again so players actually want to come play for them, how to attract talent in terms of coaching staff, players, all this stuff. And there's been a lot of stuff covering that up for a while. Having Bjergsen on your team covered up, I'm sure, a lot of mistakes, a lot of wrongdoings by a lot of people, having the most money, having the most resources, doing all these things. If they now want to be the organization that, doesn't spend the most money anymore and tries to go young and tries to develop, it's going to take time to perfect that. And they're probably going to miss a couple times. Just because TSM decided on Kaido and Shenyi, there's a good chance that they miss on both these guys. There's a good chance that neither one of them is a long-term answer. That's just kind of the how prospects work. Prospects have a very, very low hit rate. If prospects had some amazingly high hit rate, every team would be filled with prospects and then would have superstars, 3-4 years from now. TSM's not the only team that's trying to find future prospects and stuff like this. But I think TSM is on the right track. I think TSM can potentially be great again. But I think, we're really looking at it being like 3, 4, 5 years away from now. I don't think it's going to be this iteration of TSM. I don't think, Kaido and Shenyi are going to win an LCS championship. I don't think they're going to win a championship on TSM. I think, TSM is going to have to go through multiple different rotations of this. And if they can eventually figure things out, if they can eventually get things right, if they can definitely get the wrong people out and the right people in terms of everything from top down in the organization, I think they can do it. But right now, I don't think a lot of those things are in place. I think it's very, very interesting and telling that, hey, Parth went through this whole offseason, set up this whole roster, and then pieced out. I mean, if he thought this roster was the future, if he thought this team was in a great condition, a great state, you think he would just leave? I have so many different weird questions and stuff. I have concerns and questions about how the fans are acting. I have concerns and questions about how the organization is acting, how people in the organization are acting, how the team is acting, and what I see right now in the Rift is pretty disgusting. And I think if you take the TSM nameplate off and you put on like CLG, I think this team's getting memed to death, made fun of, they're getting just roasted. But all of a sudden you slap the TSM nameplate on it and everyone's like, oh, hey, there's some promising stuff here. Oh, hey, they're pretty good. They're pretty close. Like TSM, this is the most like optimistic 0-4 team we've ever seen. Now, we've seen teams come back from 0-4 starts. 0-4 start is not a death sentence, but I think it's been a lot better teams. I think it's been a lot more talented teams. I think it's been a lot more promising teams. And right now, again, who knows what's going to happen the rest of spring split? Who knows what's going to happen into the summer? But no matter what happens, I don't think this TSM team is a title contender or a Worlds contender in 2022. And in that sense, I think the old TSM is dead and gone. And TSM, as we know it, at least, is really finished. That's kind of what I want to talk about in this video. And there's still so much more to talk about. I want to space out the TSM videos a little bit. I don't want to just hammer home TSM content, but obviously they're a very compelling, polarizing team. There's obviously so many different storylines and so many angles to talk about this, and I think everyone has an opinion on a lot of this stuff. So there will definitely be more future TSM videos in the future, and it's not all going to be negative. I don't hate TSM. I'm not a TSM hater. I'm not Thorin Jr., whatever the heck you guys want to say. I'm simply giving my thoughts and opinions on the things I'm seeing on the Rift, off the Rift, all the stuff. And right now, hey, yeah, a lot of it is bad. A lot of it is negative. I don't have a lot of great thoughts and opinions about what I'm seeing right now. There are some people I think doing amazing work. Like I said, I think Dominic Callis is doing a great job. I think Kays is doing a lot of things right, saying a lot of things right. But I do still think the organization has a lot of issues. And to turn a blind eye to it just because, oh, hey, we're TSM fans. This is what we're rooting for the team no matter what. That's not what this channel is going to be, and that's not what we're going to do. So we will talk about things, and when TSM, decides to start winning some games, start turning some stuff around, we'll talk about the positives. But for right now, we're going to have to break this down in a lot of different negative ways. And, yeah, TSM fans probably won't like it. But, hey, TSM haters, I guess this is your time to show out. But that is pretty much it for this video today, guys. Definitely drop a like if you did enjoy it. I would appreciate it so much. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think about TSM. Do you think they're finished? Do you think they're not? You think they're coming back this season, next season? I don't know. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions. Subscribe, stay up to date on all my latest content. Hopefully catch you guys in the next one. But until then.